here on the outside, and he's becoming a threat to Hijazi with a furlong left to go. Hijazi, however, opens up. It's a 3-length lead. Worcester finishing strongly into second, followed by Sully in third. Hijazi with a 2.5-length lead, and Hijazi takes care of business. Hijazi wins by a length and a half. Worcester clearly second best. Sully third. I don't get it in Tiz Talk. They're in the gate. And they're off. A Broken Breeze. Here's Secret Square, headstrong and taking the lead. Chevet Arbiter comes through on the inside, and Hot on the Trail is close up and on the pace too. A Broken Breeze, who broke on top, is now in fourth, about 3 lengths off the lead while racing in between horses. Sacred Beauty having to just back off with no room at this stage. 3 off the lead and another 2 back to Chow Mar. They pass the 6-furlong pole, and Chevet Arbiter will be the leader. Has it by a length to Secret Square second. Hot on the Trail, a 3-wide third. Then it's A Broken Breeze in fourth, and Sacred Beauty at the rail in fifth. About 4 lengths off the lead, heading toward the half-mile pole. Another 4 back to Chow Mar. Chevet Arbiter, with a half-mile left to go, will be the leader by just about a length, with Secret Square between rivals second and Hot on the Trail outside of them. A Broken Breeze, Secret Beauty still about 4 off the lead, and nothing yet from Chow Mar. Chevet Arbiter, with 3 furlongs remaining, leads it by a neck, doing it well throughout thus far. Secret Square trying to apply some pressure in second. Sacred Beauty is now called on, with A Broken Breeze making a 3-wide bid and taking second. A Broken Breeze and Chevet Arbiter square off as they pass the quarter pole and turn for home. On the inside, Chevet Arbiter, but A Broken Breeze with solid momentum. There's room for Secret Beauty along the inside, but it's A Broken Breeze with a 16th to go in the center of the track, clear by 3. Sacred Beauty moves into second late. A Broken Breeze wins it by 2. Sacred Beauty second. Chevet Arbiter third, then Chow Mar. Midnight Mammoth completes the lineup. They're in the gate. And they're off. Very even start. Mike Smith gets all over Hero Status for speed, and he responds. Bold Endeavor up alongside, and DeSormo busy too on Midnight Mammoth. And so 3 of them vie for the lead into the first turn. The pace is honest. Holding the Loot is down at the rail in fourth, about 3 lengths off the lead, and a 3-wide red flag is at the back of the field. Heading to the 6-furlong pole, and Midnight Mammoth takes over, leads 3/4 of a length to Hero Status in second. Vasquez busy on Bold Endeavor, too, only a length and a half off the lead. Red flag outside of him, and Holding the Loot at the back of a very compact group with 5 furlongs to run. Midnight Mammoth just under a length. Hero Status at the rail. Red flag turquoise colors in third. Then comes Bold Endeavor, been worked upon since the gate opened, fourth, and joined at the rail by Holding the Loot. They move into the far turn. Hero Status down at the rail, traveling smoothly. And Hero Status is the leader, quickly puts a length and a half. Now it's 2 on Midnight Mammoth, and he's the one to beat. Holding the Loot moving through along the inside. Red flag is next to him. And then another 3 back to Bold Endeavor. 1/4 mile to go. Hero Status. Holding the Loot now makes a nice move. And Holding the Loot on the outside of Hero Status. Hero Status comes right back, and Hero Status the leader with a furlong left to go. Holding the Loot a length back second, and these 2 are well clear of the rest. Hero Status, a very strong performance today. He's opening up to show that he outclasses the competition. Hero Status cruises home, almost 4. Holding the Loot was second. Red flag third, Midnight Mammoth fourth. Goes in. And they're off. Looks Rare is going out for the early lead. On the far outside, Low Expectations, and Deep River now almost clipping heels in between them. Not the best move into the first turn for him. In the meantime, Russell's Hustle comes through and is a joint third. A gap of 4 back to Don't Test Your Luck as they string out early. Rain Over Me. Glendale is at the back already 15 lengths off the pace being set by Low Expectations, who's now taken in hand. And so they come after him. Looks Rare and Russell's Hustle moving in on the front runner. Deep River is fourth, 2 lengths off the pace, followed by Don't Test Your Luck, another length and a half, Rain Over Me, and Glendale. They've taken much closer order. There's a half-mile left to run, and Low Expectations is the leader. Has it by about 3/4 of a length heading into the far turn. Looks Rare on the outside, and Russell's Hustle at the rail. Then Deep River fourth, 2 lengths off the pace while 3 wide, a length back to Don't Test Your Luck, Rain Over Me, and Glendale. Low Expectations comes to the quarter pole, being nursed along so far, has it 3/4 of a length. Looks Rare set down for the drive now, and Russell's Hustle is in third. They're at the top of the stretch. Looks Rare on the outside, and Low Expectations are head and head with a furlong left to go. 4 back to Russell's Hustle in third. Coming to the 16th, Low Expectations digging in, trying to fend off this bid from Looks Rare, and it's Low Expectations holding on. Low Expectations. That was a good ride from Mario Gutierrez. Looks Rare second best. Russell's Hustle, Deep River, and Glendale. They're in the gate. And they're off. Not the best of beginnings for Joker Boy. Sawasti is out very quickly by Harbor's Dream. Paul Vincent's Poem comes through at the rail third. Then Sonic Breeze fourth, 4 lengths off the lead. Mighty Matt is in mid-pack, followed by Sittin' on Go, Big Bad Gary, and slow-starting Joker Boy is inside of that pair. It's Sawasdi sailing toward the half mile, in fact, passing it, leading it by 2 now to My Harbor's Dream in second. Then it's Sonic Breeze and Paul Vincent's Poem at the rail. Joker Boy takes fifth, 5 off the lead. Then it's Mighty Matt, Sitting on Go, and another 3 back to Big Bad Gary. Sawasdi, My Harbor's Dream moves boldly to engage, and My Harbor's Dream runs right by with 1/4 of a mile to go. Sawasdi is asked to counter. Sonic Breeze third. Joker Boy is now 4 wide in fourth, and then Paul Vincent's Poem. There's an 8th to go. My Harbor's Dream. Sawasdi not done fighting back. 3 more to Sonic Breeze in third, but it is My Harbor's Dream who now finishes off Sawasdi and starts to pull away. My Harbor's Dream and Luis Contreras to win it by 4 widening lengths. Photo for second. Sonic Breeze nailed Sawasdi. Then it was Joker Boy. Mighty Matt completes the super high 5. They're in the gate. And they're off. Very nice beginning for Hopkins, who will vie for the lead. Took Charge battles, and Took Charge takes the lead while in hand. These two have sped about 3 clear of McLaren Vale, who races between horses. Traegar goes by him. Down at the rail, I Got No Money is fifth, 3 lengths off the lead, and no early speed from Clem Labine. Into the far turn, Took Charge narrowly. Hopkins at the rail. Traegar coming after the top pair, 3 wide and 3/4 of a length off them, less than 3 furlongs remaining. McLaren Vale in the green colors pushed along fourth. I Got No Money, a long way to Clem Labine. Traegar on the outside and Hopkins at the rail, squaring off. as the field turns for home. Hopkins and Traegar head and head with a furlong left to go. Hopkins handridden, Traegar just ahead behind. McLaren Vale is in third, and then I Got No Money. It's Traegar or Hopkins to the wire. Traegar's just in front in the final stages, and Traegar game in victory. Hopkins ahead back second. Clem Levine came alive late to get third. McLaren Vale was fourth. Ganadora was moving around, now Natural Color. They both settle. Now a little movement from Angel Nadeshiko. And they're off in the La Cañada. Angel Nadeshiko and Ganadora begin together, and now Ganadora takes the lead. Under the Stars came away in third. Kirsten Bosch on the inside of Natural Color, and Smooth Like Butter is at the back of the field. Rounding the first turn, and Ganadora will set the pace. Going off to lead by a length and a half. Angel Nadeshiko concedes in second, and then Under the Stars in the purple colors third. Kirsten Bosch is fourth, just 3 lengths off the leader, followed by Natural Color and another 3 back to Smooth Like Butter. They swing on to the backstretch, and it's John Velasquez and Ganadora carving out the fractions, 3/4 of a length. Angel Nadeshiko trying to keep her on at second. Kirsten Bosch a willing third, moving through along the inside. Then it's Under the Stars fourth, 3 lengths off the pace with a half-mile left to go. Smooth Like Butter and Natural Color. Ganadora takes him to the 3/8 pole. Angel Nadeshiko a neck back second. Kirsten Bosch now called on 2 off them in third. Under the Stars dropping out of it. Passed by Smooth Like Butter. The distant trailer is Natural Color. They have a 1/4 of a mile to go, and Angel Nadeshiko running a big race up to take the lead away from Ganadora. Kirsten Bosch coming after the top pair, as is Smooth Like Butter, who switches to the outside. There's an 1/8 of a mile to go. Ganadora fights back inside Angel Nadeshiko. Kirsten Bosch bearing down in the center. It's Ganadora or Kirsten Bosch. Kirsten Bosch coming with big strides late. Kirsten Bosch, Ganadora digging in. Here's the line. Photo finish in the La Cañada. Kirsten Bosch and Ganadora in a thriller. Behind them, it was Smooth Like Butter and Angel Nadeshiko. In the 8th, scratch 2, Crying Bull, and 8, Spirit of McKenna. There's no high. Recall and reload to the outside. And they're off. Thales in the center is going out for the early lead. Anarchist has speed, and in between them, Augusta Melody now moves up and takes second. Got Thunder 4-3 off the pace. 2 back to Recall and Reload. Red Line's at the back. It's Thales past the 5/8, leading by a neck. Getting pressed now by Augusta Melody, who's up to take a narrow lead. Just behind them, Anarchist in third. Followed by Got Thunder, Recall and Reload. 3.5 off the pace with less than a half mile to go. Red Line at the back. Augusta Melody takes them into the far turn with Thales pressing a neck back second. A length and a half, Got Thunder, Orange Cap in third. Anarchist in striking range at the rail. Recall and Reload is widest of all, but only a length and a half off the pace while making a 4-wide bid. Red Line is at the back of the pack. It's an open scramble as the field turns for home. Thales won from the rail. Augusta Melody fights on. In the center, Got Thunder, Recall and Reload. Anarchist nowhere to go, and then Red Line, a 16th to go. Recall and Reload, and Got Thunder are head and head for the wire. Recall and Reload on the outside, just in front, and finishes best to win. Photo for second. Anarchist got out late to claim the second spot. Then it was Got Thunder third, and fourth went to Augusta Melody. The late pick $416.
As you can tell from that scenic shot, blue skies and sunshine have returned here to Southern California. Hi, everybody. My name is Tom Quigley, VIP player concierge and your seminar host for the next 35 minutes. And if you're a weather geek like me, once in a while you watch the Weather Channel, and the storm that hit Southern California last Sunday night after the races were over is now back on the East Coast, basically between Cleveland and Boston. And they've given it a name. It's called a Winter Storm Iggy, believe it or not. We've got our own hurricane in the studio today. He's the former jockey known as Iggy Puglisi. Iggy, happy Friday. Welcome to the seminar.
Happy Friday. Thank you for having me. Yes, I did not know about this hurricane.
You're not
Iggy.
a weather geek like me. You don't watch the Weather Channel.
I'm going to have to jump on that.
You're busy enough. You're married. You've got a 2.5-year-old daughter named Penelope. How's life going for you now that you're retired?
This is the family life is really fantastic. I look back on racing, and it's neat, because you think, wow, that's done. And now I look at it at times, and I think it looks so dangerous. No, I mean it always has been, but I've really enjoyed transitioning back into this fatherhood and being there at the house. I like it.
It's like a basketball player, right, who's either retired or injured watching from the sidelines. They're like, my God, how do those guys do those things? And then when they get back on the court, it's kind of second nature. You probably feel the same way, right? There's so many talented jockeys right now in the Southern California colony. Juan Hernandez, our leading rider, Flavia and Pratt, Frankie Dettori in town, Umberto Rispoli. The list is endless. I know I'm leaving some riders off. What makes a very talented or maybe even a Hall of Fame jockey that much better than a regular rider?
Yeah, I mean, with a colony like this, I was actually having a moment the other day because it was for my 50-plus guys. It was Kent DeSormo, Mike Smith. Everybody was winning. Dettori. So I'm like, man, you could go on, into a mature age. And
Tom Brady's proven that in football.
Absolutely. But I think really what separates in the long run is just being able to be consistent and go with the ups and downs of racing and have slow streaks and rebuild yourself. It is an extremely tough process, as you know, because as the champions that we get to see, again, everybody knows the stats. They win at 20, say at 25%. 75% of the time you lose. So it is very tough to keep people happy in the right business. So you need a combination of the right agent and horses and longevity, being healthy, staying healthy, and more than anything, just I think right decisions over a long period of time proves itself.
It's a sport where the athletes never get a break. Every other major sport, the athletes get a break. Jockeys never get a break, but they do like to have a good time. And a couple of summers ago, before COVID hit, there was a charity down in the Del Mar area after the races one night. It was for the benefit of the PDJF. And Iggy and his wife, Michelle, actually wound up winning the karaoke contest. We've got exclusive clips from that. Let's walk back a couple of years ago and watch Iggy in action on the stage with his wife, Michelle.
Pack it up, pack it in, cause that means you did. I can't do it, never mean that to sin. I don't ever slide up, monkey girl back up, try and put it all in the whole life. Here, you work again,
Iggy, who knew that you had a voice and could put those dance moves together with your wife, Michelle, there for the benefit of the PDJF? You can see in the background some of the judges, including Nick Casado from Slam Dunk Racing, Todd Schrupp from TVG, even Joe Harper, the president of Del Mar Thoroughbred Club. What got into you to do that other than the benefit of the charity?
Strictly the benefit.
What?
Not for me. I stopped drinking about 12 years ago. So it was even more difficult than you would imagine to do it sans alcohol. Yes, and that is just so not me. I'm not even in my drinking days, I'm not the karaoke. I've been across the street a bunch and everybody else singing. It's just wasn't really my natural state, but it was great. Once we got going and everybody that performed, man, it was really cool.
And let's face it, it was a lot of fun that night, but at the same time, it was for a great benefit. The PDGF, the Permanently Disabled Jockey Fund, the jockeys every day, every ride, put their lives on the line, and that charity was to benefit some of the riders who unfortunately have been injured. And I know that's really what motivated you the most to get up on stage and conquer all your fears.
Yeah, absolutely. For the benefit of the jocks, and luckily, I did have Michelle, that's a dancer, to teach me, those moves along the way, even though I wasn't comfortable doing them. You know, we sat and did them a lot that summer. Practice a bunch. It taught me, you know, something that I wasn't comfortable. It's good to step out of your comfort zone.
We might have more secret videos of Iggy doing karaoke. We'll find out over the next 30 minutes. We're also going to find out who Iggy likes on today's excellent 9-race card. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the early changes on today's Friday's card here at the Great Race Place.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park. The track is fast, the turf course rated as good, the rail on the turf is out 30 feet for today's action. Here are the early changes. The first starts the 50-cent early pick 5 with no program changes. The second, the beginning of the early pick 4, no changes. In the third, scratch number 1, La Vie. Race 3, scratch 1, La Vie. The fourth kicks off the Rainbow 6, and we have an $86,000 jackpot on today's card. A couple of blinker notes as well to start the pick 6. Turning to the fifth, scratch number 9, Midnight Vow. Note that number 7, Always California, will carry 2 pounds over. In the sixth, scratch 1, Big Bell, scratch 2, Alfie's Angel, and scratch 3, Love Gone Wild. 1, 2, and 3 out of today's sixth. In the seventh, scratch number 6, Crosby Beach. Race 7, scratch number 6. The eighth race will start the Golden Hour Pick 4, no changes. And in the ninth race, start of the $5 Golden Hour Double, no changes. Enjoy your day at Santa Anita Park. Post time for the first is in 58 minutes at 12:30. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner. His special guest today is Iggy Puglisi.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with former jockey Iggy Puglisi. Iggy, before we take a look at today's 9-race card, a question for you. I made you do your homework, and you know that it was a difficult assignment, but many times horse players and handicappers think, how much time do the jockeys actually look at the racing form and the past performances before they ride their mount? Circle back to when you actually were riding actively. How much time did you look at the racing form? How much time did you consult with the trainer, either before the paddock, while you were in the paddock? Did you kind of just let chance go to the wind? Like, what type of preparation, if any, did you do personally?
Well, you gotta, you know, again, for the 50-plus guys, we rode a lot prior to having internet or replays, so it was just the hardcover form that we had. And I've always been a handicapper, but I think for the most part, it really turned up. Even in the jocks room, we would get our replay machine in there, and guys would line up to use it. You know, it's just a very important tool, especially if you hadn't ridden the horse in the past. So, you know, it's one of those things where it just kind of evolved into more watching than to always being studying the racing form. But as far back as I could remember, it would be Chris McCarron and Lafitte and Mike Smith and P-Val, everybody's in their little corner, sitting on their little bench or whatever it is. Lafitte had his own little special pirate seat that he sat in, and you know, a lot of handicapping, especially in between races, and go back and forth. And then there's a scratch. Now maybe that puts me on the lead instead of having to wait, or the inside horse is gone now. So you're always trying to think, and honestly, that's what makes it easier now being from the outside, because as a rider, you usually handicapping your horse, how you can get him to do the best and not the rest. So I get now a chance to kind of look and fantasize through, that's who I would ride. And that's kind of who gets my attention in gambling.
When you looked at replays, Iggy, would you maybe just kind of drift off and watch some other riders, whether it was Eddie D, Lafitte, Chris McCarron, whoever it might be, and maybe see some nuances that they did, either maybe staying behind horses and then drifting out late? I don't know. I'm not a jockey, but would you watch some other jockeys' tendencies and subtle things that they would do?
Especially guys that were able to do repeat moves that won. You know, if we left out Corey Nakatani, one of the greats, you know, on the grass. You watch, and it's a very competitive, full field, and he stays inside, you know, just
for as long as he could.
Ice just stays there until it opened. and he would get through. It's one of those moves where you learn, and you're like, it's tough to sit that long because you're thinking I'm either getting shuffled or I need to go, and really good, patient, methodical guys like that are just fantastic to watch. But that list goes, because even our active one, Kent Desormeaux, to me is one of the greatest riders I will ever ride against.
And good to see Kent back in the winner's circle, not only here, but he took a busman's holiday to Turfway Park and rode some winners for Wesley Ward at the beginning of the year as well. So good to see Kent back in the Southern California jockey colony. All right, Iggy, we're going to try and learn from your handicapping expertise and your riding prowess. By the way, you rode 7,544 horses in your lifetime. 826 of them hit the winner's circle. Your very first winner was at Playfair in Spokane, Washington. Do you remember that particular mount with your very first career victory?
I do. That horse's name was Jimmy Ward. I remember that, and I'm going to steal a line from Trevor Denman when they asked him, "Do you remember the second race that you called?"
Sure.
They asked him, and he said, "No idea." And that was about the second one. I don't recall, but
Sure.
Jimmy Ward in 1990, September of 1990.
Well, let's see who you like in race number 1 and see if there's a Jimmy Ward in here. And of course, race 1 kicks off the popular 50-cent early pick 5. We're 1 mile on the turf course. The turf course today is listed as good. The main track is fast. The turf rails are at 30 feet. This race is for $50,000 claimers. 6 hard knockers in here, including the morning line favorite and the current betting choice. Number 3, Ready Soul from the Doug O'Neill barn. 8-5 on John White's morning line. Now 6-5 on the tote board. What were your thoughts on race 1, Iggy?
Not knowing you were going to ask me about that win and Jimmy Ward, Moody Jim really grabs my attention.
It all kind of ties together, doesn't it?
I actually did like this horse. I'll go back. This horse went off of a 2-year layoff. That speaks in volumes to me. The distance here at Santa Anita, I think the horse is going to try and turn the tables on Ready Soul today. Hopefully there'll be some pressure up there, and Mike will get a great stalking trip from the outside. I was able to watch their last replay together. It was kind of a really paceless type of race, and Ready Soul got to cut inside, and Moody Jim swung real far wide. It made, I think, a little bit of a difference. It's going to be a much tighter race today.
Fair enough. As you mentioned, Iggy, they both come out of that same race down at Del Mar November 13th. And basically there were 2 lengths separating them. But nevertheless, as you mentioned, perhaps the trip did cost Moody Jim the victory. We'll see if he can turn the tables today. Let's turn the page and take a look at race number 2. Begins the 50-cent early pick 4. This race is 1 mile on the main track for fillies and mares. It's an allowance optional claiming type race, non-winners of 1 other than. We've got a field of 6. Both of the main contenders are coming off layoffs. The morning line favorite is number 6, Big Switch, the Calbred, who's a multiple stakes winner. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Iggy, I wanted to watch a workout and ask you some questions about number 4, Micro Share from the Richard Mandela barn. This workout we're watching is from January 7th. It's a team drill. On the outside is Micro Share, and you can see as they get closer that the exercise rider is our own Jessica Pfeiffer. But it's interesting that both of these runners, at least in the race, Micro Share and Big Switch, are coming off long layoffs. Considering that and watching Micro Share's workout, which you might or might not have seen before, Iggy, maybe what are some things that catch your eye as you're watching Micro Share work on the outside?
Yeah, I haven't been able to see this work yet, but from what we've seen so far, about the first 3/8 of a mile, it seems like they're both horses traveling very comfortable, and you can see Jessica's motionless on the outside. Big, rangy, nice, beautiful moving horse, really in hand.
Daughter of Upstart, they spent $450,000 for. She only has a maiden victory to her credit, but we haven't seen her since April. And as I mentioned, this is a tough race for runners coming off a long layoff, going 2 turns. A sprint race might be a little bit easier on them, but going 2 turns for both Micro Share and Big Switch in race number 2 could maybe prove to be beneficial to handicappers that are trying to beat them. Are you maybe trying to beat one of the 2 favorites in race 2?
I am not. Here, I kind of stuck with both of them. I tried to look around. I thought maybe Troville for an underneath type of price, but I couldn't get away from the 2 favorites. And I think this is really going to be a battle. I was watching the replays of both of them this morning, and Big Switch in her last race really breaks strong and alertly. Big, powerful mare, and she breaks right strong and running. And Micro Share, the replay that I saw winning, bobbled a little bit and took her time to get going, and then finishes up really strong. I give the advantage a little bit to Big Switch. I think she'll be positioned in front of her early.
Iggy, during your riding career, did you exercise many horses in the morning? And if you did, what's the difference between riding in the afternoon and exercising horses in the morning?
Yeah, exercising in the morning has been a big part of at least my career, because you have to get on a lot of horses and work a lot of
Knock on a
horses.
lot of doors.
Yeah, and see and see if any fruit falls from the tree when you shake it, right? Um, so, I'm not sure.
In other words, like you have to listen to the trainer's instructions. I want him to go an easy half and 49 and change. And then it's your responsibility maybe to slow the horse down a little bit slower than what he wants to go. Whereas in the afternoon, you're asking him for full speed.
Yes, and that's where I think I got a little bit of advantage again, taking it from a Chris McCarron playbook, knowing that he would use his stopwatch all the time, to clock horses. I believe that the horse that tricked him was Precisionist. They told him he worked 109, he wouldn't believe it, so he started wearing his own clock. Great idea. So that's the one thing that I do, and once you get used to your first, even if you're checking after an eighth of a mile or a quarter of a mile, when you get comfortable and you can let go, you can really gauge off that first quarter. If you go 25, you're really not in, no matter a half mile or 5/8 or 3/4. If you're going 25, you're going to gauge about the right thing. If you've been told a minute, you're going to have to pick up pace a little bit. If you
And you can feel it, obviously, with your experience. You generally don't need the watch. It's just they're primarily for reassurance and confidence.
With certain horses, they do. Even after years, certain horses just travel much easier, and it feels like 102, and they do 59. They really do. So you can't trust it. You got to go. You got to go good with the quartz.
Let's take a look at race number 3. See if we can find a fast runner in here. We're sprinting 5.5 furlongs in the turf course for fillies and mares in for a $25,000 claiming tag. Scratch number 1, La Vie, leaves us with a field of 7. Maury Line favorite number 7, Trickle In from the Ryan Hansen barn. 5-2 on the Maury Line. Ryan Hansen saddling a number of runners today. Also take note the jockey number 8, Piazzetta, Edwin Maldonado, currently second in the jockey standings of a very competitive jockey colony, as I mentioned at the opening. Give us your thoughts on race 3, Iggy.
Yeah, I got lucky enough to see Edwin just the other day. We were up in the suites, and I ran into him and congratulated him on how well he was doing. And he looked great. And he told me about his whole kind of life plan of changing, of being just more physically healthy, mentally healthy, and a bunch of different things that he's changed along the way. 'Cause I was explaining to him that it is a very difficult colony and not a lot of hold on to.
You make a really good point, though, Iggy, that I kind of want to expand upon, and that is we see the jockeys from 12 o'clock Pacific time until 5 o'clock Pacific time, 3 days a week. But their craft and their career requires them to be very disciplined, not only in their personal life, but in their eating habits. I mean, it is a full-time commitment in order to become one of the leading riders in Southern California.
And another thing that it seems like it's evolved, now you see almost all of the jocks that are either in a workout program or have some sort of trainer or diet or nutrition. And it's such a good thing to see. And that the weights went up a little bit, that really helped, the taller guys. Like myself.
Did you have a problem with your weight?
I didn't, because I'm not
You're still in great shape.
I'm thin, but thank you. So I understand, but being real light, it's 112 or 118 to some of these is
in this day and age,
it's 7 or 8% of your body weight.
Of course.
So I think that and the approach to everything now being so healthy is really good for the jock.
And it looks to be paying benefits for Edwin Maldonado. Do you like Edwin in this race, Iggy, or are you looking at another rider?
I thought this race was really tricky. I thought there was a lot of different speed coming from different directions and horses coming out of very short races. Then the inside horse scratched. I originally thought maybe Invincibella would be the horse running them down late. Then the one horse scratch. And I got stuck this Soaring Sky horse. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I look, and he's running a mile and 5/8 and in Europe, and now he's going to go 5.5 here, and he's made the lead and opened up 10. I don't know. I'm going to take a shot. I think this race is wide open.
Well, Kazushi Kimura, who is the jockey on number 2, Soaring Sky, was the leading rider up at Woodbine, and he has one win, but it was a good win for trainer John Sadler in our stakes race, the La Cañada with Kirsten Bosch, I should say, over this past weekend. He's another jockey who, I mean, think about that. He's the leading rider up at Woodbine, very competitive colony. He's coming down here, as you would expect, limited opportunities, but he's riding for Sadler. Right away, that tells you he's got talent.
Couple of guys right away today. He rides also for Michael McCarthy. In fact, Michael approached me or called me a couple months back and just wanted to know if I had seen this kid ride in Canada. And I said, I really haven't watched a whole lot of Woodbine. He told me, man, I've ridden him. He's legit. And I said, great. So now we see him here and he rides him here. And the horse that he won on of John's looked hopelessly beat
Yes.
last weekend. And he just kept scrubbing,
Stuck his head
and
down in her
work
mane and
work
never looked up.
work,
Right.
And he was able to come up with the victory. And that is something to tip your hat to, because he got Johnny V on a horse he'd been riding for a while. That's
with Bob Baffert training.
Man. Yes, congratulations.
Everyone wants to be in Southern California in the winter, and I think they'll reap benefits now that the storms have left. Race number 4, Iggy, starts the 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6 jackpot single ticket carryover, now up to $86,000. That will be yours if you're the only winning ticket, plus whatever is wagered today. And we kick things off for maiden special weight Calbred, sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track. We've got a field of 7. Morning line favorite is on the bottom, number 7, Magnificent Ride, who has had plenty of chances. Before we get your thoughts on the race, time for another workout courtesy of our friends at xbtv.com. It's for number 4, 6 feet, back on December 18th. You can see if you have the racing form in front of you. 6 feet has not been seen since May of last year, ran very well in maiden 50, now tries maiden special weights. And in this particular race, 6 feet is down on the inside, and you could see, but breaking from the gate, if you were watching while I was babbling, that 6 feet actually kind of stumbled coming out of the gate and now had to recover, and doesn't really necessarily rush up, but certainly regains the advantage over his workmate, a barnmate from the Ryan Hansen's barn by the name of 40G. This is just a 47-1 handily workout from the gate, Iggy. So there's not a whole lot to look at, but to me, with blinkers going on, which 6 feet is wearing in this particular workout, off the layoff, he certainly looks sharp, and it looks like he's going to show some speed today.
And the fact that he was able to make up that ground fairly easy inside, after stumbling like that. This work is going to end going a half mile from the gate. It's going to end here, coming up at the quarter pole. And it's a really solid work for going off slow like that and being able to get up inside. I thought that horse worked well. Now,
having looked at that replay, Iggy, is 6 feet your top selection, or are you going to go with a different runner?
I had 2. He is my second selection in here. I ended up, after seeing the replay on Tom's XS, first glance, I thought, no grass, and they're not used to, and they don't take a bunch of dirt. I'm going to look elsewhere. And that's usually what I do. And then I went and watched the replay, and it was good. That horse looked like he was really finding stride late and after the wire, galloping out really well. You gotta be able to that's what I meant about the grass. Is today's a little bit different. He doesn't leave, at least first time out, very fast. So he's going to have to deal with some dirt. But boy, he finished up running really good.
Jockey on Tom's XS is Mike Smith. Iggy Puglisi so far for the first 4 races on today's Friday's card thinks that Mike Smith might have a big day. Race number 5 begins the 50-cent late pick 5 sequence. We're sprinting 5.5 furlongs on the turf course again. This race is for maiden claiming three-year-old fillies in for a $62,500 tag. Scratch the also eligible number 9, Midnight Vow, will not compete, leaves us with a field of 8. Number 6, Ryland Jane from the Peter Miller barn, who we haven't seen in quite some time, is a 3-1 morning line favorite. What say you about race 5, Iggy?
I watched that replay of Raylene Jane, and she's stuck inside and kind of loses position in the turn and gets a little bit of momentum. I wasn't sold on it. I was trying to look elsewhere. Unfortunately, that was tough to do because there's a lot of first-time starters. Even if you're going by workouts, now they're running on grass. So you don't know what to do with the first-time starters because you're going by works that are on a different surface. So I kind of meshed everything together, and Itzel ended up on top. The horse ran good after breaking slow, first time out. I think that the grass will move her forward. And I took another shot that Foolish would be a live first-time starter getting Flavian Pratt.
Itzel is ridden by the bug boy Iggy, Abdul Al-Sagor, who's had limited opportunities, but done fairly well, particularly crosstown at Los Alamitos. When you had new bugs come into the room when you were a journeyman rider, did you try and reach out and help them, or do you just throw them into the deep end of the pool and say, figure it out by yourself?
I left that to the mean guys. No, no, I always did. And especially because I was always watching replays and or studying the form. I just felt that, it's kind of like one of those things that you just pass along, especially if somebody's interested. If you get somebody that doesn't want to be approached, then that's a different story. But I was always, especially in Southern California, when I made it to this circuit with all of my idols, like that I've mentioned before with Lafitte and Eddie D and McCarran, to ask them questions. They would take you aside, whether they were busy or not, which I'm sure they were busy doing other things other than teaching a bug boy, how to ride, and would explain why, why that horse was lugging out. Or I'd ask Lafitte, how do you do this with the horse without standing up out of the tack? And he would explain it to you. And so would Chris. And you would follow them, you would hear them, what they would say to other jockeys after the race or other trainers. I'd be listening, like, what do you say to a trainer after a race? And you hear it from the best. When you get that type of schooling, that's why, I don't know, it really never irked me that I wasn't the best. I was with the best. So it really was nice.
What is maybe, and this is a general categorization, Iggy, what are maybe some of the most frequent mistakes that apprentices make? In other words, I'll give you some ideas. Do they misjudge pace? Are they in the wrong position? Do they have trouble riding the turf? You might have your own ideas, but generally speaking, if you go back through the history of coaching and teaching apprentices, maybe what are some of the early mistakes they make early on in their career?
I think just because there's a different nature to it, that grass racing is a little bit more difficult starting off. Maybe if you grew up around it or watched it or we're kind of really patient through it. But when you see apprentices do well, they're free running. Jessica, she tore them up over here and
Yes.
letting horses run, early on, and
With
you
the
see
weight
other
break.
jocks looking like, don't go yet. No, I gotta go. And that is to me a perfect example of an apprentice. That's what you're doing. It's natural to you. You don't know that you're supposed to be fourth because there's 3 other speeds. You do what you do, and that along the way will teach you. You go, okay, now I get it. But getting back to the question, the most difficult thing I think is grass, because pace and you get stuck in when those guys are sharp on grass, you can't sleep, not for 1 second, not 1 second, you get shuffled. It's over. By the time the hole opens, Rispoli's there, so it's like, well, it seems even watching, I'm like, wow, and you have to have the horse. I get that, but it is a very sharp, tactical chess playing type of game.
Just like any other profession, no substitute for experience, that's for sure. Race number 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 4, sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track. Fillies and mares, non-winners of 2 races, lifetime. $16,000 is the claiming tag. 3 scratches in there. The 3 inside runners, 1, 2, and 3 will not compete. Leaves us with a field of 7. Number 8, Head Start from the red-hot Jeff Mullins Jr. barn is the 3-1 morning line favorite. Jeff Sr. on suspension. Jeff Jr. came in, saddled 4 runners last week, Iggy. 3 of them hit the winner's circle. Is he going to get win number 4 today in race number 6?
It looked, like he's just setting it on fire since last week. I did look elsewhere. I, again, didn't know what to think of some of these horses that have speed, that are big droppers. So I tried to just come up with something new. and I went with one of the horses that had good workouts on the workout reports, 27 Trouts, and that horse has run two races early on that would be extremely tough in here. So I ended up swaying that direction. I thought Silent Beauty was interesting off that 8-month layoff. I know it was maiden 20 at La Salle, but really determined to win that day, that mare was. So if she's got another step forward in her, I think it makes her competitive in a tough field. There's a lot of decent speed in here.
Iggy's top 2 picks, number 5, 27 Trouts, and number 6, Silent Beauty, in race number 6 are decent prices on the morning line as well. 4-1 over 6-1, indicating, as Iggy's been mentioning throughout the seminar, that this is a very difficult card, simply because, as he mentioned, plenty of class droppers, plenty of runners returning off layoffs. There's a lot of chaos, a lot of indecision, which handicappers welcome, because generally speaking, that means good prices may result. Race number 7, we're running the marathon distance of 1.25 miles on the turf course for allowance types, non-winners of 1 other than Scratch the 6, Crosby Beach, leaves us with a field of 7. Morning line favorite number 3, the Gray Wizard from the Gray Emotion Barn, 8-5 on John White's morning line. Just missed last time against much better company. Single here, you're looking elsewhere, Iggy.
I think I'm going to do 2 horses in here. I think the Gray Wizard is obviously the horse to beat coming out of the Hollywood Turf Cup. The grade 2 seconds in 2 graded events should make the horse extremely tough. I thought Aljaweed was neat trying the grass for the first time at 6, and you never know. You get a horse that enjoys it. It's 1.25 miles. It's a very rangy distance that only certain horses really tend to like. So I thought 10-1 was a great price on the two. I'm going to take a shot. I thought the horse to beat was the Gray Wizard.
Iggy looking for an upset in race number 7. 10-1 on the morning line with number 2, Aja Weed. Race number 8 begins the $1 golden hour pick 4. That's a relatively new wager with a low takeout on a higher minimum, linking our last 2 races here at Santa Anita with the last 2 races at Golden Gate. It always pays well, and you should get involved. And the first leg of the golden hour pick 4 is race number 8, where we're sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track. Calbred allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. Take note number 2, What in Blazes, returning from the layoff as a first-time gelding. Morning line favorite down on the rail, number 1, My Man Bag, 7-2 on the morning line. One more workout to show you here, Iggy, and it's for number 7, Gold Rush Candy from the Bob Baffert barn. Again, courtesy of our friends at xbtv.com. This is a team drill back on January 7th. Gold Rush Candy is going to be down on the inside, and take a look at who his workmate is. You might remember Faustin is a $500,000 son of Curlin who broke his maiden on debut for trainer Bob Baffert as well. And take a look at the hammerlock that the exercise rider on Gold Rush Candy has. Now, granted, Gold Rush Candy is a 4-year-old competing against a newly turned 3-year-old, but he's going to hang tough here. And again, I want you to watch, as you well know, Iggy, the movement of the exercise rider's arms. Gold Rush Candy, like I mentioned, completely under a hammerlock hold. What do you think? What do you see, and what do you think here as you're watching the workout?
Yeah, this is definitely eye-opening. This horse is traveling extremely easy, as you put it, under a hammerlock, which is a true statement.
And Faustin's not chopped liver.
Not at all. They're both finishing up really good there, but for that level, that made you can see Faustin galloping out well too. Both horses, solid work in there.
No surprise coming from the Bob Baffert barn, but I thought the Gold Rush Candy workout was a little bit understated back on January 7th, as I mentioned. Number of layoff runners here, including Gold Rush Candy, What in Blazes, and others. Iggy, give us your thoughts on race 8.
Again, another tough race to come up with a single, because I could see the race setting up in different directions. But I am going to take the horse that, again, attracts Flavian Prot. Ryan Hansen's horse. That's who we should have asked this morning. He had a lot of runners. Could have answered all these questions. Yes, that was the one I should have run into. But I liked What in Blazes coming off of the layoff. Horse has been working well in the morning time. And Gold Rush Candy, when in doubt, and use Baffert. No, and a great workout, actually. That really opened up to seeing how good that horse is going to run. That was a very solid work.
We close out the Friday card in race number 9, which offers $5 golden hour daily double wagering. Similar concept, last race here with the last race at Golden Gate, and we're back on the turf course. 1 mile is the distance for fillies and mares. $25,000 is the claiming tag. Keep in mind, live racing will resume tomorrow, Saturday. First post revised to noon Pacific. Noon Pacific first time post tomorrow, because we have a 10-race card. If you think today's card is good, wait until you handicap tomorrow's. Tomorrow's might be the best betting card that we've had so far in the meet. But first things first, Iggy, we close it out here in race number 9 with number 4, Feathers, dropping off the claim for trainer Jeff Mullins Jr. 5-2 on the morning line. We need a winner to pay for dinner. Who is it going to be?
I am going to close off the card with a horse that's dear to my heart, Harper's Gallop. So I was hoping that the line would still be on there, but it might be a couple back. This is one of the last horses that I won on, previously trained by Jack Carava. And she's super genuine mare, just very nice when she's right. What she wants to do is route on grass, but she's been able to win on dirt and sprint. So just one of those real genuine horses that I want to see her win. So that was my top selection in there. And of course, I thought the second was Feathers. Feathers, both wins were really good. Came from nowhere. The race at Del Mar just inhaled the whole field within a 16th of a mile. So Feathers is a horse to beat, and I'm going to hope that Harper's Gallop, comes to her best races, and I can see her win another one.
Iggy, you used the word genuine, and certainly over the last 35 minutes, you've shown your genuineness in terms of personality and character. You obviously have a love for the game. It's been a pleasure doing this seminar with you. Keep up the good work being an ambassador for Santa Anita, and we'll do it again sometime soon.
Thank you so much. It's been a blast. So let's hope we got some winners picked.
Thanks to all of you for watching as well. Next voice here will be track announcer Frank Miramati, updating us with any late program changes. Have fun, everybody, and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem.